This past week, of course, a lot of things have been talked about, and especially the very first one that really hit our screens, the events that were experienced at Langata Road Primary School, where children who were supposed to be in classes learning were seen out in rampage. What for? Fighting for their rights, so that land grabbers do not take their playground.
I'm not aware of any children who have been injured. But when they were pushing the wall, you cannot rule out also being injured by what they were doing. Pellet stones to our officers. They were pelleting stones to our officers, and they are not people. You have seen, we have officers who have been taken to court.
A very sad reality indeed, when we expect these children to be in classes so that they grow up to be responsible men and women with dignity who will definitely change the future of this country. But we saw them fighting for what they believed was theirs, their right. Of course, in the end, they became the victors, in as much as they were met with brutal force from the police. Later on, they received packages of apologies and even promises from government officials. But one statement really came out: standing for what is right, standing for what belongs to the people. Just after that, another battle ensued. The digital migration battle still continue on.
We are liaising with the Kenya Revenue Authority and the Kenya Bureau of Standards to bar the importation of any set-top boxes by the 3 media houses which have not been type approved by the authority. Considering that the purported set-top boxes they are talking about have not yet been type approved by this authority.
The 3 media stations, the powerful media stations, stood out and made their concerns known. However, there is a gap that was left. Who are these digital broadcasters that nobody is talking about? So far, the message that is being given out there is that of the 3 mainstream media stations fighting for their rights, for a level playing ground, fighting the Communications Authority of Kenya. But little is being talked about this Digital Broadcasters Association.
We wish to bring to the attention of Kenyans that the fact that the implementation of the digital migration in Kenya has been delayed by certain disruptive forces in the past 2 years through numerous court cases. They have totally ignored the fact that many Kenyans have invested millions of shillings in the setting up of digital stations by buying expensive equipment and the recruitment of staff, only for the process to be delayed.
And money is a lot of money, whether it is somebody has invested 40 million or 400 million, it's an investment. But the key thing is that these are ordinary Kenyans who have, a lot of them, taken loans from the bank. A lot of them use their assets, invested, and that amount of 40 million shillings per station is as important as 100 million shillings.
Recently, they came out to air their concerns through a press brief. Unfortunately, their case was not heard in the mainstream media stations. They spoke about their concerns in regards to the investments that they have already made since the digital migration discourse started. But unfortunately, those concerns have not been heard.
So this is a catalyst where young people produce content and will get employed in these stations. And we wonder, why would anybody want to delay this or stop it? The other misconception that has gone around is that this is being done in a hurry. I was at the launch of the digital switch, the path to switching onto the digital platform way back in 2007. And over the last 8 years, the media owners have been party to this process. They joined a digital transition committee which sat, and we learned through the court hearings that they were part and parcel of that process. They agreed on dates. So the very first dates that were announced were party to it. The date of 13th December 2013, they agreed to it. So the misconception that this is being done in a hurry and they haven't had time is not correct. They have had 8 years.
Now that their voice was not heard in the 3 media stations, they're trying to make their voices heard in different other ways, just like those children at Langata Road Primary School. They've tried to air their concerns, their grievances through their media stations, perhaps social media, to make sure that whatever they believe is theirs is actually heard, and that Kenyans begin to understand how this dialogue is going on. One thing really stands out. Should we sit down and wait for victims to fight their way to be heard? Or should we as Kenyans look at the structures that we have and make sure that these structures serve all, regardless of their social status, whether powerful or weak, that these structures would serve everyone equally? That is indeed the call, that victims should not find alternative ways to air their grievances in a place, in a country such as Kenya, where there are structures for justice and representation. That is indeed the call today, that we need to push for those structures to represent all, regardless of their status. My name is Johnson Mwakazi, and that is our editorial comment.